crazy.
It's crazy.
Do you have anything else to add? It's crazy.
How did you even manage to do that? No, I mean that's impressive, even on like the horror like mechanics of Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, I've always loved the idea that Silent Hill is like autonomous.
You mean like it? Well, the only thing I like about it is like it's both different depending on who it's based on.
But it's like it knows who to cater itself to.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. But
it's
here's
not
the
it's
really
not it doesn't treat dumb little girls who've never done anything in their life the same way it treats like Henry's probably a bad example. Henry
Well, I
got
mean,
dragged into this.
yeah, like that is the weirdest part about Silent Hill. Like it never caters to like a specific individual like outright. Like for instance, if you get thrown into Silent Hill, there's usually a reason why you're there, but it never says that it's directly aimed towards you.
Like right now we've been dragged in by someone else.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and that happens, but like, take for instance Silent Hill 2 where you have James, like, that was catered specifically towards James.
That was catered to James.
But the thing about it is, it wasn't exactly catered to just James. Like, it also brings forth the fact that, you know, everyone sees shit differently, depending on, like, what you did.
And some people don't even see shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, that was the whole thing about Silent Hill 2. And it's weird because, like, in Silent Hill 3, it still kind of went along with that term, except, you know, it had a lot more to do with, like, Heather. You know, and she had a huge reason for actually going to Silent Hill and why the whole thing was catering to her. It went along with, like, the first Silent Hill.
It catered to her a lot, but I've been made aware that Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3, those weren't the protagonists' Silent Hills either.
Yeah.
Those were like, who was the antagonist of 1 and 3?
Well, see, I don't know if you could call it the antagonist, but it was, Alessa.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. It was in 1 and 3, it was Alessa's Silent Hill.
Yeah, yeah. And the weird thing is, like, even though it wasn't exactly catered to Heather, like, I guess I should put like a spoiler right now. Actually, does anyone care? I mean, like, really, who's gonna like?
Eventually the game's like too old, and if you really don't want to hear anything, you should just go and play the games yourself.
Yeah, but like, honestly, when you get down to, you know, like, Heather was Alyssa, and that's really like why it was catered to her.
I might need to look into this a bit.
No, I mean,
like, I can't immediately say that's right or wrong, but I'd believe it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like the huge realization at the end of Silent Hill 3.
I'd believe it.
And that's why, like, the antagonist was trying to get her back, you know?
Which is why she drinks the vial of the thing and spits up a baby demon.
Actually, I think that is, like, the whole reason for that, yeah.
Okay.
It would make sense to me.
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna drink this! I just want every cutscene in Silent Hill to, like, change in tone to, like, totally radical dudes radically yelling at each other.
Just like, yo, bro, I got this sweet elixir. You want to try some? Hell yeah, dude! And then they try it, and
what's
it's
up,
just like
bro?
an acid trip.
Do you
It's
see
like,
all those
whoa!
monsters out there? Bro, what's up, bro? Do you see all those, like, monsters out there, bro? Nah, man, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I think I killed someone. I'm Ralphing all over the place. Whoa, dude, that's, like, totally radical, right? I'm gonna go.
And they're just saying, like, 90s slang, like, all the time. It's like, gnarly, bro!
I'm immediately thinking of, like, Henry, who was the protagonist? James. I'm immediately thinking of like when James ran into like the big fat dude who was throwing up because
Eddie?
he just killed someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he just killed someone, so he's like throwing up over it.
Yeah.
I've never killed anyone before, and like there's like a potential like psychological withdrawal that you'll go through the first time you kill someone, where like your brain will be like purge, and like your body won't know how to deal with the command of purge. Like, because that's
I'm not
real.
gonna lie, I actually like Eddie, not from like a character in Silent Hill 2, but I like this one quote that he said towards the end.
What is it?
Where he's just like straight up like telling James that, you think you're innocent in this place? Hell no, you're just as guilty as I am.
No,
They
there's
just
always the implication that like the things you're killing could very well be real people
oh yeah,
struggling just as much in Silent Hill, and
like
they see
there's a
you as
huge
a monster.
theory that you know in the first game where you're basically there's ash but it kind of falls like snow.
Yeah.
There's a huge implication that that's actually a drug. So everyone who's like there is like high on this drug, and all the monsters they're seeing is just a hallucination of that.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't mind the theory of drug, but I feel like that there's a lot to be done with the idea that this is actually a like a thing that the town is actively and magically doing.
Yeah, I mean that's the interesting thing. No one knows. Is it like because it kind of goes along that psychological horror aspect where it's like, is it the occult? Is it a drug? Like, does anyone really know?
Does anyone even care?
And that's like the huge mystery that people theorize about this, and I don't know if there's like a confirmed like theory on this. I don't if there's not, I don't know if we'll ever get one. It's just like it's something that we're gonna theorize and we're never gonna get a clear answer on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with the town's magic.
The occult.
I like that it's magic. There's something neat about that to me.
Well, it's kind of I don't know. It's like it's kind of one of those things where you got the people who like need like hard evidence, like science, but then there's always that hint that it's like, what if science can't explain everything?
Well, my main thing is like if in real life I would immediately be show me hard evidence, but in fiction, you can do whatever you want, and I
Yeah.
love I love what you can do with fantasy with like fantasy and horror. Fantasy and horror can immediately be like this town is straight up evil, or like
I like the fact that you got someone who's just like enthralled in this whole concept. Like you got freaking Walter Sullivan who's just like, yeah, I learned how to use this to my advantage, and I'm all like ethereal and a ghost, and freaking I can kill you without really trying hard.
I imagine that if you ever like gained some ability to gain control over Silent Hill and you were like not a cool dude, you would use the shit out of your Silent Hill.
I gotta be honest. You ever see like those Geico caveman commercials?
Yeah,
Walter Sullivan kind of reminds me of like the caveman.
physically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's his like forehead and his hair.
All
Like,
right.
I'm sorry. It's just the small details that it's like he kind of reminds me of this.
You look like a Geico caveman. What?
It's just
That's
like
that's his Silent Hill. People walking up to him and telling him he looks like a Geico caveman.
literally, it's just people who just say you look like a Geico caveman. By the way, this is the sword I was talking about.
Oh God.
I know we've been like talking about like all these ideas, but literally that is the item that you need in order to progress.
Good.
Well, at least it's part of it. See, the thing is, you can actually solve a puzzle, which we haven't gotten to yet. I've just been like, exploring, and this is where I was saying we can montage through the entire thing. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like we've been talking about this whole entire like situation. I dig that. I like that. If nothing else, this is the whole point in which that's why we're leaving the whole backtracking in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ow, my ear. Ow, fuck, God. God damn it, Gildan, you're killing me.
I'm sorry, man. I had to.
Ow.
And the second part is like we also have to solve a puzzle.
How could you?
Well, I mean, like it's not gonna happen just from like nothing. We gotta do something. I worded
And then
that
there's
very
and then
weirdly.
there's always the theory where it's just like, what if character X from like other game that I like was in this game? How would he solve the problem?
What if Deadpool was in this game? How would he solve the problem?
He'd go to the next panel where the problem's solved.
Do you feel like if Deadpool was in this, like he'd just like go around guns blazing, or at least like just being like, well, I'll just use the Konami code, or like
Yes.
something extremely like meta.
You got anything you can enter buttons into? Deadpool, I don't see what that's... Don't you understand? You press buttons into things and they do things! Just like
Like
dead.
he's just hanging with like Walter Sullivan. He's just like giving him tips on how to be a better
Like
murderer.
Walter like grabs him by the throat and possesses him and tears him apart, and he just puts himself back together. And is just like,
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but remember this
oh
scare?
yeah, no, I said this was like one of my favorites.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to interrupt just because this is like the one where it's just like you gotta see this, man.
This is my second favorite. The first is the little kid shadow at the foot of your bed.
Where it's literally just disproves that you're safe, like right as soon as you wake up.
Yeah.
Because that one's actually really ingenious. And here's another thing I want to bring up. So sometimes like there's a delay in horrors because like your candle will be used up, but at the same time like the horror won't like the scare won't go away.
Yeah, they gotta retract all those models into the wall.
Yeah, and so it's
I,
like you
I
you
like
might.
how I like how that shows off that it is very much the same model, copy and pasted and looped over each other in a bunch. I'm sorry, I'm a
Yeah,
game designer. It ruins games.
no,
Forget
it's
about
fine. Actually, I think it helps in this one Let's Play because it's like I wouldn't have figured that out. I mean,
it.
it
It's
might be
literally
super obvious, but it's like I wouldn't have figured it out.
it's literally literally what happens there is like just take the model and copy paste it and drag it around on the Z and Y axis. It's great. I was talking to a friend recently about how or how making video games affects your perception of video games. And I've always found it super enjoyable since I've always been one of those people who loves the behind the scenes. He immediately looked at me just like, I wish I could take it all back because games just don't have the same magic anymore.
I can believe that. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like you're passionate about a hobby, but then you decide to actually try to make a
Like
living out of it,
he
and
still
you're
loves he
passionate.
still loves he's for the record he still loves designing games. He still loves games, but it's just like I can see where he's coming from where it's just like I wish I didn't know that hitting that switch triggered some code that caused the lever to go up on that door.
No, I completely understand, but sometimes it actually comes in benefit, like in handy, because like honestly, you telling me a lot of this stuff actually kind of like makes me recognize like triggers. Like for
Yeah,
instance, I was telling you about the sword.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's something I wouldn't have understood because it's an everyday item, but lo and behold, I found out that you actually need it's like one of two triggers you need to actually progress. One it actually makes sense. Well, one of those triggers makes sense. The other one, which is the sword, doesn't.
It's just like it you go somewhere and it checks to see if it's in your inventory
Or you picked it up.
or you picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's always annoying. And it's like programming it is really weird too. Because essentially it's just like what's in his inventory
Yeah.
slot and like I don't know.
It's not just that. It's like you wouldn't think that you'd need this thing to progress because honestly, it's not something that like it's handy to get. I'm not gonna lie. Like getting a sword of obedience is great because it immobilizes ghosts permanently. But
Ouch, my
like,
ghosts.
yeah, but it's not like you'd think you'd need it in order to actually like be able to progress.
Ugh, sorry, I don't entirely know how it causes progression. I haven't seen that yet.
Well, I mean, okay.
I'll probably call bullshit when it happens,
I'll tell you when it happens.
but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, because we still haven't gotten to the puzzle yet. Which this is all about montage.
Ooh.
Or I guess you should say this is all exploration where we could have montaged.
Well, I guess we didn't, unless we did, in which case none of this is going in. But it's
Nah,
probably
I'm okay with this.
this is fine. We're having
Yeah.
a good time.
Honestly, you know what the whole solution is besides exploring what we did?
What?
We go to the third floor, find a hole that goes all the way to the basement, and we jump through it.
Oh, right, because
Yeah.
all Silent Hill characters have like legs that go for days.
Yeah, because they have strong, sturdy legs that can handle jumping from floor to floor in a record time. Like not just like jumping from one floor. I mean, they go from one floor to the next
So
and then instantly go straight to the next floor from that floor.